Good morning and welcome, Pick Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. I hope it finds you well out there. If you haven't seen it, crude oil prices over $100 a barrel this morning. Last night, a lot of us were sleeping in our beds. Crude oil got to almost $120 a barrel as, doesn't look like we are going to have any quick end to what is going on in Iraq that is going to be driving pretty much everything until one of two things happens. We get some form of oil flowing out of the Strait of Hormuz, or I guess we don't. Right? The longer this goes, the higher the price will be, and there's just no other way around it. It's just too much oil being shut down. Our toll-free number, 800-951 0592. Try to get some more of those assets protected, get them insured. This is looking like it is going to be going on for a much longer time than a lot of people expect. And I don't think people really get Iran is a very big country. And just size-wise, geographically. And obviously all of you are figuring out that geographically where Iran is positioned in relationship to energy, you couldn't ask for a better spot. I don't know how we stop it from shutting down the strait. I just don't know. I don't think it can be done by, flying planes and bombing, right? What we're doing now, what Israel is doing now. It's too big, too much area, too big of a geographical win for Iran. Like I said, it is a very big country. It is a very mountainous country. There are lots of places to hide and make things difficult. But as of right now, it is all about oil prices. As we said, Iraq essentially can't pump oil. They're full. The storages are full. The only oil they're pumping right now stays in Iraq. Kuwait, same problem. The United Arab Emirates. So when we think about, OPEC in terms of the Middle East, there was only two countries that really had any spare capacity. Saudi and the UAE. Today, the UAE said, we're shutting down fields. We're full. We have no way of getting the oil out. From what I am seeing, we may start getting this same line from Saudi Arabia. If we're in this spot, here we go again. If we're in this spot next week, right? And what spot are we in? Well, we're bombing the hell out of them. You must surrender and all of that stuff, but the oil's not flowing. We will see oil prices do something nobody wants to see. And, at $100, this is extremely dangerous now. $80, okay, right? Even $90. but a prolonged time over $100 is going to be extremely painful globally. We already have countries now trying to do things like cap the gas price, as an example. What does that mean? It just means, hey, once gas gets to $5, the government's going to pay for the rest of it, right? Deficits, right? We have fertilizer indices, cement, and even when you talk about warehouses, AI, you talk about AWS, Microsoft, things that make the internet go. It is going to be a very significant problem. And now it's really starting to take effect, right? Look at Wall Street down again today, struggling with stagflation. I mean, that seems to be where we're going right now, which is the economy is going to be slow. The economy is going to be slow, and inflation is really going to pick up steam. It's not a great combination, but again, if we can get this to stop, then we got a shot. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. Let's take a look at the markets here. This is probably the best, not probably, this is the best Wall Street's been all day. Don't think it's going to stay here, but we'll see. Down 400. The S&P is down 37. The NASDAQ is down 50. The 10-year note higher, but off its highs. It's been as high as 421 overnight. The higher oil prices go, the harder it's going to be to get these yields to come down, right? And obviously, now they're starting to talk about other areas that are going to be affected by this energy issue. Right now, oil, probably the lowest it's been, 98.5. Brent at 101. Unleaded gas, which has just been on a tear, obviously going along with it. I would highly recommend to people fill up today. Top off. Well, you're like, I don't need gas yet. Get it anyway. Up another 15 cents here to 90 on the wholesale side. Listen, it's been as high as 320. So when we sit there and think about if wholesale gas is 320, that's $4 in the cheap places, right? And $6 in the non-cheap places. And unfortunately, Colorado's a cheap place. Arizona is not a cheap place. So it's getting up there. And again, the hard part in all of this is how long is this going to last? That is what we don't know. That is what we don't know. The longer it goes, the higher it goes. And I'm talking about oil, gas. Think about things like we know about fertilizer, airline flights. They're going to become crazy expensive. And just on down through everywhere. Everything gets shipped, put on trucks, all of these things. This can be a very expensive time for everybody. I mean, $200, I'll just say it. If we go another 2 weeks we're probably going to see $200 a barrel oil. What if we go 3 weeks? Does it go to $250? That's the hard part. Never, ever has this much crude oil been offline, right? It's non-replaceable. So today, by the way, we got to, I guess, finish here. Gold down $80, $5,100, $5,100 on gold. And again, a lot of that is, well, rates are going higher. You know, this gives the illusion that you have a strong dollar. It's really not that the dollar is strong, just kind of the way the mechanism works. Silver unaffected today. Yeah, I don't know that silver is going down anymore, no matter what the news is. 84.30 silver is flat at the moment. And Jason, I guess this is kind of what we're sitting here thinking about is how high can this go? And is there anything the Trump administration can do to get this strait open? I don't know that there is outside of putting, troops on the ground. And then on top of that, which, by the way, we may do that, but that is a ways away thing. You know how we like to do it. We're not just going to, here's 500 guys. No, we're going to go in there and win, or, our definition of winning anyway, which means, Jason, if they decided right now we want to put troops into Iran, they're probably, 30, 60 days away from getting everything set up logistically to even make that happen.
I wonder how much inflation they really want us to have. The 08 housing crash was tremendous spending, $29 trillion. And then you had the COVID spending, which doubled the money supply. The money that's coming in before the invasion of Iran was going to be as much as the COVID money that was spent. Now you have the inflation of the oil. So tell me if I'm wrong. I believe Iraq's capacity to store, you might have already said this on the first segment, Joe, is it's hitting today, I think. When Iraq hits so these countries have like a storage capacity. And if the oil has nowhere to go, their only option is to shut down the refinery. Correct. When that happens, it takes weeks to start it back up. It's not like a switch. So Iraq's capacity, I believe, ends today.
They're only producing now what they're consuming locally. That's it. There is, Iraq was producing almost 4 million barrels a day.
There's several other minor countries that have refineries, and they're all hitting capacity as well. Yep. So, we have these big, huge countries.
UAE, yep.
Yeah, there's these other, I could be wrong, Turkey, and there's like a couple other countries that don't produce tons of oil. They're hitting their capacity. They're shutting it. So, it's not a lot, but it's kind of a pile-on effect. And it sure seems like that they have a target price for oil. If I had to say, Joe, just watching and just guessing, I would say I think if this is an economic thing, which is what I think it is, I think they aim at $200 a barrel. That's what it looks like. It looks like they're aiming for 200. And then when the oil price comes down, when the Strait of Hormuz becomes open again, depending on how this war unfolds, then they've got it, Joe. They can rock and roll it, and they can. But Joe, if this is a real, if we start seeing sensitive infrastructure being hit in Iran and in the region, then who knows, Joe? This thing could get ugly.
Over the weekend, Israel did bomb several Iranian storage facilities. You guys probably saw all of that. There was a desalination plant hit. Iran retaliated and hit a desalination plant in Bahrain. And, of course, Jason's like, hey, that's going to be the key. And all of a sudden, everyone's waiting, right? Because, okay, wait a minute. If you hit the desalination plants, let's just say Saudi Arabia, they can't pump oil. People think, well, water and drinking water, yes. But that is also the water, and you can't pump salt water into the oil fields that they use to get the oil out, right? This would be very dangerous times this morning to get prices down. The G7 got together, the finance ministers. They're like, oh, you know what? We can all release oil from our strategic petroleum reserves. Well, just in, apparently they've agreed against it. They're not touching their reserves. Now, I got to remember, our reserves are low. Because of the Biden administration, they wanted to lower oil prices. They used it for that. The Trump administration, they've replaced some of it, but very little. Here's the thing, and the only thing I can imagine of why they didn't. Why didn't they today? And I think the answer is pretty simple. Oil prices are going a lot higher, and they need to save it. For what, maybe $150 oil, right? Something like that, right? To save it. It's too early here. $100. This isn't the time to save it. We do have economic data out this week. CPI, the PCE, durable goods and more. So we'll see what CPI is. Of course, this is going to be, this CPI report will be before the war. So it'll be interesting to see if prices were already starting to head higher before this to see what's going to happen next. And, yeah, this is a mess. This whole thing is turning into a quagmire here where energy now is it's in trouble everywhere. I don't care where you are. There's not a country in the world that is not being affected by this. On top of it, you know, we've been talking about cracks in the credit markets. This weekend, BlackRock. So think about, we had, what was it, True Color go bankrupt, then we had Blue Owl, then we had Blackstone start putting restrictions on redemptions. BlackRock just froze $1.2 billion in withdrawal requests from its private credit fund. So, Jason, you know, this private credit thing continuing to spread here, kind of being lost in the headlines. But I got a feeling the worse the energy prices get, it's actually going to make this credit problem even worse.
Yeah, no, this is an economic situation, any way you slice it. And this war did not get started without somebody saying economic things are going to happen when this thing starts. There's no way that I did not know that Iran would do this, and this is very surprising, the results. There's no way. The things that are happening economically were known before this decision was made, and Joe, we just don't have that. We don't make the decisions. We don't have the upfront, up to the second information that's saying why and when they're going to do this stuff. So we're going to have to do the best we can to read the tea leaves, right, Joe? And the banks are going to get ugly here. I've said it several times over the last year or two. They're going to relax the regulations on the big banks. They're going to let them start printing money. That's where all this is headed. They're going to deregulate the big banks so that they can put out loans whenever they want and fill up their coffers whenever necessary, Joe, because why bail out a bank when you can just have them bail themselves out? I think that's what we're looking at, Joe. And then, you get the big banks, I don't know, 5, 6, 8, 10 banks, 12 banks, whatever it is. They get to start to balance their sheets by printing it up themselves. Then they could loan to the smaller bank, and then they can just choose which banks get to live and which banks get to die, Joe. I mean, that's where we're headed. And I'm thinking the banks you're mentioning are ones that are on the naughty list, I think. That's my guess.
Yeah, and a lot of these, the hard part is a lot of these aren't even necessarily, with the new who's a bank and who isn't a bank, I guess some of them could be on the banking list, but this is going to make things very, very difficult already. The plan, they want to cut rates. Obviously, the energy prices are going to make that harder. Then you have issues with the credit markets. One of the ways to help credit market issues is to get rates down. Today, people are starting to fear that are they even going to be able to bring rates down? As you know, when we're looking, take gasoline just since Thursday. It's up 50 cents a gallon on the wholesale side. So that's stuff that used to take 2 weeks to get to the pumps. Why do I have a feeling by Friday, a lot of people are going to be shocked how much it's going to cost to fill up those cars? We'll be back.
Like, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, back.
800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour on this Monday. Iran has selected a new supreme leader, and I don't think anybody should be surprised. He was not on the approval list for the United States. It is the Ayatollah Khamenei's son, who is now the new supreme leader. And usually what happens in these situations happened again. He is thought to be more brutal. He is thought to be someone that is even worse, if you could, I guess, come to that, a worst case scenario as far as the selection process of who was remaining. And he seems to be enjoying some widespread support, at least where it is important in Iran. And we say this all the time, when there's a power vacuum, it's going to get filled. And normally it gets filled with the baddest dudes, right? The most vicious. Why? Well, because everybody's scared, and they go in, they've got guns, they've got weapons, right? They've got hey, I've got the military in my back pocket, I've got the secret police in my back pocket. That's who wins. And guess what? That's exactly what happened today. What did he say? Hey, we can continue this for a long time. No room for diplomacy. And according to the United States, he is more of a hardliner, that he's taking command, that it seems like stability, at least from the command structure in Iran, has become better over the weekend. So that obviously that doesn't sound very good for us. Our whole line in this, Jason, is, hey, it may take us a couple of weeks, but we'll get the Strait back open, but it won't be months. I don't know how we're going to do it. I guess how bad this gets, I think, will depend on exactly that, right? If the only way I see the Strait getting back open is, like I said, you'd have to have troops there, or we'd have to do things nobody wants. In Iran, would be doing things nobody wants, which is taking out the desalinization plants. Like, what you would have to do to get it open at that point, are we any better off because there's no oil to ship through there? But, if we're going to do it without troops on the ground.
Yeah, no, I mean, troops on the ground would be the way, because if you can get on the other side of the strait and eliminate all threats coming into the strait, then you can still have an active war and move oil. So if this is a serious ongoing war where the actual real important targets are getting hit, which sounds like that's what's starting to happen. Then all you have to do is you would have to go to the other side of the strait and take all the positions to stop missiles from being fired at the strait. But even that's still dicey, because let's just say you take the foothold on the other side, you take those positions. they can still, from the middle of the country, keep shooting stuff into the Strait. I mean, there's 90 million people in Iran. I don't think people understand this is.
No, Iran's big.
Big, yeah.
This is a big country. Not only do they have a lot of people inside of Iran, the geography of Iran, it is so much bigger than like Iraq ever could be. Iran it's a very big place. It is the geography is another tough thing, right? It's very mountainous. It's not flat and easy to hold. All of those things. So it's I don't know. I hope that whatever the plan is, I hope that they can pull it off. But just looking at this, I don't see how. I don't see how they're going to do it. But I guess we'll all have to wait and see what happens here. More details now. Yeah, Jason's nailed it. Iraq is essentially closed now when it comes to oil. By the way, they were the second largest producer in OPEC behind the Saudis, 4.3 million barrels a day. Number 5, Kuwait. They have also now started shutting down production. Number 3, the United Arab Emirates, saying that they are approaching max capacity. Right. So 2, 3, 5, pretty much, Jason, by the end of the week, they're all going to be shut down.
I guess they better get Venezuela built up quick. Apparently that's become important. Maybe that's why they went there first. Maybe this was kind of planned out, and I know Venezuela's not pumping out the kind of oil that they would like, but it is dollar oil, Joe. At this point in time, a deal has been struck. Venezuela is happy and America is happy, and about that part. So, you only got to replace 20 to 30% of the world's oil. That's all. You got to somehow figure out how to replace 20 to 30% of the oil that comes through the Strait. That's what has to be done. And boy, if you can get your inflation, and then you get some new refineries, and you get a new oil map set up, so to speak, Joe, then the dollar system will be happy. I mean, what else can you do, right? Look at this speed. But when you see, and I've showed you this map before, when you start to see the way that this war was prepared for decades, this is not something that was taken lightly and Trump just showed up and he's just being a brash guy. That's how the news is reporting it. Even Trump supporters are like, yeah, well, when Trump makes a decision, he just does it. This is decades in the planning. Decades in the planning. And Venezuela had to be taken care of. That had to be resolved before this could happen. And look how fast they did it, Joe. Look how very quickly Venezuela's situation was resolved. And bang, right to Iran.
Yeah. Unfortunately, everybody's finding out that Iran is not Venezuela. And we'll see. We'll be back. Got more breaking news when we get back. 800-951-0592. Countries, they're just going to take things into their own hands. India now saying that they want to be clear. They don't need anyone's permission. They don't need anybody's waivers to purchase and refine Russian oil. They say that the United States can say what they like, but India is not beholden to that and will move within the best interest of their country. I don't know. We'll see. I think that the best hope is Saudi Arabia can reroute so the Saudis don't have to go through the Strait. So that's kind of a good thing. At least not all of their oil does. So the problem is, like I said, 2, 3, 5 all due. And, of course, now we're seeing Iran's oil infrastructure being bombed. They have a huge facility in the Strait of Hormuz, by the way, the Iranians do. It's like an island that is yet to be attacked. That'll be another one. If they attack this island where the majority of Iranian, it's where all the oil goes to get put on the ships. If that gets blown out of the water, everybody better look out, because that would definitely put oil over $200 a barrel. And of course, the problem is how long to get everything back online. So the longer this goes, let's just put it this way: the longer this goes, pretty simple, the more damage gets done. If this could be a 2-week thing, great. Probably well worth it. Right, as the president tweeted out today. I just don't see how it's a 2-week thing. I don't even see how it's a 2-month thing. That's the worry. That's the worry. So right now, gold, $5,100, down $73. Silver's pretty much unchanged here at 84 1/4. $20 gold pieces, $52.95. So you're saving $100 from Friday. Silver's right where it was, $1,945 on rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles this morning, and we'll see how Wall Street fares. Right now, down a little over 400 points. Crude oil now only at $96 and change. It's been as high, just below $120 a barrel late last night, early this morning. I have a bad feeling that and I don't know, right, obviously, but why do I feel like before the day is out, the oil price is going to, are we going to close over that $100? That's going to be the big thing. Once it closes, once you get these two closes over $100, then you just start looking, right, okay, 120, 130, 140, 150. Is today going to be that day? We'll see, Jason. I think that we may get another day or two before it really jumps. But like I said it on Friday, there's no way we can be where we were last Friday, this Friday, and not have oil prices well north of $100 a barrel. And at least so far over the weekend, nothing good happened this weekend, right, Jason, to bring down and make people feel better that maybe the oil price will stay in control. And it's Monday now, and still nothing better.
Right. Well, it's actually caused a little bit of a buying opportunity in gold and silver. Since gold and silver isn't like taking off like a rocket ship, it's slowed, and I think it's because big Wall Streeters have they have their own little portfolio, and they have a little bit set aside for commodities. And so I think some of them are sell a little gold and silver off and buy oil because that's what investors do. Oil's going to go crazy. I'm going to sell off my... And here's the thing, gold and silver hasn't sold off that much. We could see a bigger sell-off in gold and silver if people are going heavy in oil. Look, I don't do this stuff, but if oil goes to $200, you can buy it at under $100. It's a pretty good place to be, right? But it's only going to last for a while. Oil, talk about silver moving fast. Oil moves really fast, and then it goes dormant, right? And so... As soon as the profit taking happens in oil, as soon as everybody that gets into it is happy, it's all going right back into gold and silver. So, Joe, I think this is a good moment. It's a really good moment to get into gold and silver. This might be the calm before the storm, before another violent uptick in silver and gold, Joe.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is definitely, and like I said, you have. With the high price of oil, everybody's like, my gosh, right? Are they even going to be able to lower the interest rates and look at the 10-year note and all of those things? man, I just feel like we're heading into a scenario where we are going to embrace stagflation, where they will cut interest rates regardless of what the inflation is doing, because the economy will be showing flashing a lot of warning signs. Look at the last jobs number. That was another big sign. And they will pick inflation over unemployment every day of the week. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason wrapping up this Monday. $20 gold pieces, $52.95. And just to kind of piggyback on what Jason's talking about, I promise you, they will cut rates regardless of the inflation. And they'll say we're doing it to save the economy. You know, we're starting to look at Wall Street here. Listen, Wall Street's behaving. But it's been a painful week last week. And so far, starting off another painful week this week. You're starting to see the private credit being shut off completely. We have liquidity problems. That's really what it is, right? The private credit market, I mean, there's some bad parts of the private credit market, but a lot of it, there's just no liquidity. And now people are scared. They want their money.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
This is what we're trying to tell you. Gold is going to do something absolutely crazy. Kind of like what silver's been doing. Get ready. They are going to cut rates into this stagflationary cycle. I can almost guarantee it. And they're going to say they're doing it to save the economy. And you are going to see a move like no other. Get in here. $5,295. I mean, you got spot gold. It's at 5102. You're talking about $193 over spot, and spot's 5102. I mean, that's nothing. That's not, what is that, a couple of percent? You guys should be jumping at this at 800-951-0592. And I just have this feeling there's that point. You know, is it $4 and $5 gasoline, maybe $6 gasoline? Could you imagine? There will be places, now granted, maybe remote, you know, someplace in California, Hawaii, where they could see $10 a gallon. Yeah.
If this war actually has real targets and real vulnerabilities being hit, then we could have $10 a gallon in the entire country, Joe. It's that easy. It's that easy. Because listen, if Iran is actually fighting for their existence, then a lot of stuff's going to get broken really fast here. And is what your pocketbook's going to say, Joe.
Yeah, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. I do not believe the administration when they say that this is going to be we'll have the Strait open in 2 weeks. I think that's just pure nonsense. I wish it wasn't. Believe me, all of us want that thing to be open. I don't think it's going to happen. Patriot Radio News Hour.